thanks for joining me again. On my first show, we talked about change. Well, more precisely, changes that are coming. Tonight, a very important piece of our lives that is already gone. Privacy. It's been gone for a long time. There are cameras on the street, in most of the buildings, and even built into your computer and cell phone. But you can be sure that 24/7, they know who you are and where you are, right down to the GPS coordinates. If you buy something, your habit is put into a zillion profiles. And you've probably noticed that your ads will change to reflect those habits. And they will try to get you to buy something else, again and again. Now, it's not the selling of products that worries me, because you know damn well the information that is gathered doesn't stay with the companies selling products. Now, some people might say, what is it that you have to hide? What the hell are you worried about? Here's what I'm worried about. It isn't so much what I'm doing, it's about who's watching me do it, and what kind of profile they are developing. For me, for you, for all of us. And why? Why? For the security of this country, America. For its first 2.25 centuries, America inherently understood that the measure of the price paid for freedom is a certain lack of security. You could say a degree of risk. In the light of terrorist attacks escalating around the world, there has been an unprecedented power grab by the federal government in its drive to bring security to an America that seemed to be frozen with fear. For the first time in our nation's history, it would appear that those making the laws would have the rest of us believe that security is more important than freedom. You know, the big hand of government wants to abolish any type of privacy enjoyed by our citizens. The phrase I've heard over and over again is, you must be prepared to give up a little privacy in order to have security. And, well, as if you have nothing to hide, why should you be concerned if the government listens to your phone calls or reads your emails? Of course, the administration falls back on the refrain that we're fighting a new and dangerous enemy, of the sort never contemplated by those who drafted the Fourth Amendment so many decades ago. And we need new powers to meet these grave threats. The fact is, of course, our founding fathers, those geniuses in gray wigs, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew that power corrupts and that the power of the government to invade a person's property, belongings, and beliefs constitutes the power to control. They understood that the government would then have absolute control over that person or any person who then would have no liberty or freedom. At the time the Bill of Rights was being debated and adopted, and in the first few years after that, the United States faced a much greater threat than that posed by any potential terrorist cells today. That would be the invasion and conquest by what was the most powerful nation on the face of the earth at that time, Great Britain. But even in the face of that threat, our framers deliberately and knowingly limited the ability of the government to invade people's privacy and to gather evidence against them. The Fourth Amendment allows government to do so only in those instances in which it has good reason to suspect the person of criminal acts. To claim that the limitations on the Fourth Amendment do not apply now because the threat we face is somehow different from or worse than the threat we faced 2.25 centuries ago is at odds with historical reality. Why is this so important? It is simply because we don't want the government to learn our bank account balances, our medical history, our travel patterns, or whatever. Is that why? Well, yes, but not really. It's vitally important because, as philosopher Ayn Rand wrote in her 1943 novel, The Fountainhead, privacy is the very foundation of freedom. Civilization, she said, is the progress toward a society of privacy. It is, after all, the process of setting men free from men. Now, our founding fathers understood that. The Bill of Rights and the Fourth Amendment protects it. This administration disdains it. And the American people must re-establish it. If our very notion of a society based on freedom is to survive. They're watching me. They're watching you. And now we need to watch out for each other. Thanks for your time, Erie. Climb aboard my ark. It's only going to get deeper.